Hi, this is Keith from Lands and Grooves, and today we're going to be looking at Corrosion Corner. These are a bunch of magazines lined up that during the last 2 hurricanes that came through this area, we've learned a lot about corrosion and some of the problems we've encountered. Keep in mind, we're going to go through a bunch of different manufacturers and some of the metals they use. It's going to really be interesting. There's actually a trash can full of magazines right here that are all going to the garbage can after this video. Just so you know, I put some of the chemicals over here that I've tried. I've tried WD-40, try to restore some of them. I've tried CLP from Lucas. I've tried silicone, Lucas gun oil, and the one I had the most luck with certain finishes was the cleanse oil. Using this and a little bit of steel wool, 4/0 steel wool, and some cleanse oil. But some of them are just too far gone. So what we're going to do is we'll take a look at different manufacturers and some of the metals they use. Keep in mind, all these magazines had different levels of water contact with salt water. So you'll see some of the stainless ones that fared better, some of the poly metal mix ones that fared okay, and some of the steel ones that fared very poorly. And cost doesn't really seem to be a factor on what magazines lasted. So let's first start by taking a look at, I have here a bunch of SIG 365 magazines. Now, in fairness to SIG, these did get submerged. So they are destroyed. And the overhead camera will pick up some of this as we take this one apart. You can see that the follower is stuck, frozen in there. It's not moving. We're going to try to rip the spring out of it and take a look inside and see what we find. There goes the plates. Let's try to... Oh, there's the spring. So looking at this metal, it does not appear to be stainless steel. It's pretty corroded. Let's take a look and see how the follower looks down inside the magazine well. That's just plastic, so that held on pretty good. We're going to take a look down inside here. We're going to do an overhead shot here of the corrosion, and I'm trying not to get just enough light in it where you can see all the corrosion in here. And the SIG right there did not hold up very well compared to other magazines. The back of it is pretty blistered. The steel's blistered. So these magazines are total losses. And with the hurricane that came, you don't have time to save everything. So a lot of these stayed damp for a couple days until I could get to them. But what we're going to do is take some of these that are still loaded, and we'll see how they come apart. Let's see if we can't get some of these rounds out. And you see that the spring's not even moving. And you see the corrosion here on pretty much all these brass case rounds. It's hard to tell what even the manufacturer is. It's all corroded, it's hard to see. Let's take a look inside this one and see how bad this one is off. This one looked to be in a better shape than the first one we took apart. Now keep in mind, none of these were in the firearms. The firearms were removed in the rush to save what we could. So we removed the firearms from the area, got as many pieces of equipment out we could to save what we could. Then you can see here that it's pretty corroded, pretty bad. I mean, it's real scored, like it's real. You can hear that. That's pretty rough in there. I don't think it's ever going to slide again. So there's another one. That's kind of the 210 round SIG 365 mags. They're all pretty much no good. Let's move on to a nickel coated round and see how that. This is a factory, another factory 12 rounder. All the followers are just jammed up. No surprise, but we're starting with SIG and working our way down the line. I do believe that the SIG, carrying one all the time, something about the metal in their magazines doesn't really seem to be the greatest quality compared to other manufacturers. Yeah, it's not going to come apart. I can't even slide the little cover down anymore, so this one's not going to come apart because you got to slide this piece off. But the follower's still stuck down inside. So let's take a look at SIG and the nickel coating. It looks a little better, but you can feel how rough these are, the rounds, that if you did fire them, you're going to wind up having a jam pretty quick because the corrosion on them is really bad. It's really really bad. So so there's SIG mags, which we can say did not perform the greatest. Let's move on to some Glock mags. It's Glock 26, still functioning. Functioned pretty good. Now, this mag, in fairness, this mag was not submerged. It did have some mist contact, was in the same room as about 3 feet of water, but it wasn't submerged. So let's take a look inside. Let's see if we can get I don't have the Glock tool. I lost that too. I don't have my Glock tool anymore. Well, instead of destroying this mag without the Glock tool, they're always a pain to get apart, especially corroded. This one still is functioning, so functioning, not horribly, doing better than the SIG mags. And that's a real Glock 26 mag. So kudos to Glock on that. Let's take a look at some Glock with the, looks like it's brass. These look like critical defense. Functioning but slower. And you can see here that overhead, that corrosion is just where they stack together. Just really just nasty. See, it keeps going. Slow. It might have had success if this corrosion didn't jam up in the chamber. Let's see if it's still moving. Yep. Well, it's stuck a little bit there. I think I tilted it. Still moving. So the Glock 26 still working. Now let's take a look at Magpool's Glock 26 magazine and see if the internals held up as well as the original OEM Glock mags did. Not so much so fast so far. Moving slow, slow, jammed. There we go. Let's see. It's still moving, but not smooth. And you can see that whatever material they're using in there, it doesn't look horrible. You can see it moving around in there. This must need the Glock tool too. So, yeah. All in all, I mean, for what you pay for these, I'll order some more of these Magpul ones. I think they were like $12 or something like that. Not too bad. The fit and finish isn't as good as the Glock, but I'll probably get 2 more Glock 26 mags and maybe 2 more Magpuls. Let's take a look at Rugers. This is for the Ruger LCP Max. Spring's not moving so good. Not moving at all. The corrosion. I'm sure the overhead camera's catching all this. You can see it's pretty bad off. Inside is pretty bad. That spring is completely stuck down there. There it goes. And the nickel rounds held up well. Let's see what they are. So we're going to try to take this base plate off this Ruger and take a look inside this LCP Max 10 round mag. So we're going to try to take a look at this spring. Yeah, this spring is the quality on the Ruger LCP Max 10 round mag. Not so good. It's pretty rough, just like the SIG mags were. Moving on. So far we got SIG that kind of got beat up. Yep, the Ruger LCP Max mags didn't make it very well. Magpul so-so. Glock did pretty good. Let's take a look at Springfield. This is for a Springfield, the 10mm Springfield 3.8 inch. Well, first round's out. No movement yet. Doesn't look like that spring's gonna move a whole lot. These appear to be just target rounds that were in there. Brass. And the camera can pick these up. They're all corroded and swollen as well, with little blisters all over them. Well, looks like the Springfield mag may survive. Let's take a look inside. Oh, this has a special pin, I think. Let's see if I can try to get it out. Maybe. Yep. that's a pretty good looking mag. Still in good shape. You can see that it still did not corrode, doesn't have any white chalkiness on it. Not too bad. Let's take a look down inside. A little green, but the stainless held up well. I think that's just the brass leaving its marks inside. So let's see if this will clean up at all. We'll try. Okay. If this is boring, we'll fast forward through it. All right. Let's see, we'll get some cleanse oil in here. See, get out of these. Well, the Springfield stainless mag seems to be cleaning up pretty good. What we'll do is we'll do one and see if it works. Yep, it's cleaning up pretty good. I see one little blister down there. Let's see if we can get that off. Stainless set up good. There's no corrosion coming out as far as it wasn't cheap stainless. It didn't rust. I think what you got a lot of here is the salt water and oil lubricant. Well, it's cleaning up pretty good. See if we can put it back together, and if it'll clean some of this corrosion off before we put it back together. I think we'll wind up fast forward through some of this stuff, huh? We're learning together. We're learning if we can fix some of this. While I'm cleaning it, we'll have a little talk. I'm sure the question's going to come up, why didn't you remove the magazines? And the truth of it is, there was so much going on during the hurricane that you don't have time to move everything. You can't move everything. You can't move everything you own. Like your, vehicles can be destroyed, and, which mine was. Golf carts, tools, all wound up getting destroyed. So magazines were kind of the least of my worries at that time. We saved the magazines and the family was healthy, so that's kind of what we were focused on. So let's see if we can't clean this spring up a little bit. Spring actually looks pretty good. It doesn't... If I thought it was gonna come back, I would have grabbed some microfiber towels. But I'm actually surprised that the spring inside this Springfield looks as good as it does. That I don't see any problems with it. I don't feel any rough edges or corrosion on the corners. So let's see if we can't put it back together and see if it doesn't function. And I will take it to the range in 2 days and see how it did. What I'll do is I'll do a quick short video to be attached to this, just seeing it fire. And we'll see how it goes. but there we go. All right. Feels really smooth. Yep, I think we got a winner here. So the Springfield magazine made it. This is for the, oh man, I can't remember the model number. It's a 3.8 inch 10 mil compact from Springfield. Been a good gun. It has red dots on it. So that's alive. That's good to know. Let's keep moving on. One of the ones we can address. KCI mags. I use these in some just for plinking and sub guns and such. You kind of get what you pay for. The overhead camera's capturing all this flaky rust falling out, and looks like coffee grinds falling out of it, and that's actually the metal inside this. Let's see if we can get this one apart. This is going to wind up in the trash. I don't think it's gonna come apart. One more try. Nope. But as you can see by the piles here, inside the internals, there's no high quality metals inside these KCI stick mags. Just junk and corrosion. I mean, they're not expensive mags, but again, you kind of get what you pay for. Yeah. Let's move on to some of the other ones. Now, ironically, these I believe are metal form 45 mags. These are 10 round mags. These held up pretty well. I kept them mostly out. Now they held up well. Unfortunately, they jam in a lot of my 45s, but the stainless held up pretty well. Kimber, no, this is a Colt. So this is a Colt. Let's take a look. Let's unload it and see how it did. Functioning, pretty strong, looking good. So I see a little bit of corrosion on the follower here, on the front. Take a look at the spring inside. Yeah, I see some corrosion on the spring. So this could be questionable. We'll see how it does. See if any of this cleans off it on the outside, but we're more concerned with the inside of it functioning. The outside I really don't care about. And these are supposed to be stainless mags, but you wouldn't know it from what you're looking at there. And the only reason I'm using this cleanse oil is because I've used the other ones and they even do less than this does. So I'm just trying to keep it up. It's, if you hear all the stainless is pitted through right there. It's pretty bad right here. So yeah, this is gonna be junk. I'm not gonna use that. Well, so Colt stainless in their springs. This is, I believe, for my Defender. Not so good. Let's take a look at FN. FN, there we go. You can see the FN sat. The front of it was fine, but the back of it sat on some dampness, and it corroded. This is for the FNX, and we're going to try to get this out of here, but I don't think we're going to have much luck because I can see the corrosion inside pretty bad, and these are Hornady critical defense. So let's see. spring's moving, a little slow. 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 Slowing down. There we go. Stuck. Stuck. We'll look inside and see how it looks, but well, so it seemed the bottom half of the rounds, and this does not have an anti-tilt follower, bottom half of the rounds were kind of tilted down and stuck in that downward position, probably since it was down in the bottom of the mag well. The spring doesn't look too bad off, a little green. Take a look inside. Not horrible. It seems the last couple rounds that were in there kind of corroded it up. But halfway up the mag well seems pretty good. Let's try again. Let's see what happens with this FN mag. Now keep in mind, we're just doing a quick clean on these to see if they're even salvageable. Just to see if they're really that bad off. I'm just gonna get rid of them. Which I'm afraid to say is probably the case on most of these. But I wanted you all to see the different manufacturers and the different quality of metals that they use. You can really see that some companies don't take as much pride in their magazines as other companies. And I've tried this steel wool. We'll try it again with FN, see what happens. Well, seems to be doing an okay job on the FN. Still a lot of pitting. Yeah, there's a lot of pitting on the back of this magazine. Maybe not a total loss, but probably not 100%, probably not something you want to carry for self-defense. You know, a lot of these guns that you would carry for self-defense, you're going to want to get fresh magazines as long as the guns would be high and dry and safe and you lost some mags, or you flushed the gun out quickly but the mag stayed loaded for some reason, like these. And there's a lot of mags to be replaced here, but you don't have to do it all at once, and you still have the main part as a firearm. So not the best, not the worst. Still a little corrosion in the bottom. Do I think this one will function? Probably. Feels okay. Let's see how the spring fared. Now the other side is a little rougher. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to make it this spring. think a lot of the powder came off. The corrosive, when your cartridge is corroded and the white powder flaked off, kind of piled up on some of the spring. But we'll put this one back together and we'll see how it looks. Just trying to soak it down a little bit and see if we get any sort of motion. All right. It seems to be running. Not horrible, but not great either. So FN mag came kind of back a little bit. Some of the rust came off the back. Still a little rough on the corners, but still think it's going to be functional. Again, there's something. These are the mags that, if you decide to use these at the range or whatever, you want to make sure you keep an eye on them, and maybe if you live in a high humidity area, make sure you keep a protective coating of something on them.